Welcome to my channel. I'm Amanda, and thank you for tuning in. And I already pre-shuffled these, and so let's just get to your reading. As always, if you like or resonate with this or any of my readings, please remember to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Okay, let's see what the cards have to say for you. For our first card, we have Take a Step. Get into action. Co-create with spirit, and a path will appear. And it's kind of got a young person and walking up a ladder and just kind of like enjoying life, and has a symbol of life and creation and how we're all together and just being free. Birds, they kind of represent wisdom and journeys and insight. They see stuff from above, so they have a lot to offer us in ways of examples and whatnot. And in this one, I'm just kind of getting, taking that step, getting into action, co-create with yourself, being true to yourself, following your own, so to say, rose path or your ley lines, or, just getting out there and taking that first step, and that path's going to appear in front of you, and life is a journey, it's not a destination. For our second card, we have Guidance from Spirit, which kind of co-create with spirit, guidance from spirit, awareness above your head. Depending on what you believe in, a lot of people, like chakra-wise, and I'd say it's probably more Hinduism, but the more you look into it, the more it just kind of ties into everything. But connecting to spirit through your sense of self and having that awareness from within that rises. Spirit is communicating support. And on the card, I don't know if you can see it okay, on the top, she's got her third eye chakra, which would be, connecting to your higher self, above your head, which would definitely be above yourself. The seraphim, almost like angelic wings, true, if you look into like the biblical sense of things, true angels weren't what we perceive them to be. You've got the one that, or not the Nephilim, but the one that's like the eye, and with the rotating orbs of whatever it is that you want to call that around them. But it's got almost like Star Trek Voyager on the bottom, which is really kind of funny. I guess I didn't notice those before, but if you look into it, I don't know if you can see that okay, but it's almost like two little Star Trek Voyagers on the bottom. Who knows where life is going to lead us, but the different shapes, different beings from all over, really where you find guidance and where you find peace. And it almost looks like it's got Mary, which would be spirit, divine ascended masters and whatnot, knowledgeable beings that are still around in energy, and who knows how all that works, but can be one place or there and all around all at the same time. So I let go of the details of things and just let them be. But guidance from above, from spirit, taking that step, co-creating with spirit, following that Zen, and realizing that just being aware that that support is there for you, and that nature, life, energy is always creating with you, and it's encouraging creativeness and raising love and beauty, and wherever you find that. Some people find it in peace and in the moment, some create it to help inspire others, all sorts of different ways you can do it. But taking that first step, knowing there's guidance from spirit along your journey. Listening, quiet mental chatter, being receptive, your inner voice of guidance. And again, with the birds, in this one we have the birds, in this one we've got the wings and the feathers and the birds and the angels and entities and energy and spirit. With this one, it's just quieting yourself, being receptive to your inner self, finding peace, balance along your journey, finding that wisdom, knowing that when we do take a moment to be still and reflect, oftentimes, the world is so crazy and so chaotic, and there's so much going on, that I think a lot of the world's problems is we're not taught that, it's okay to be silent and peaceful and by yourself. It's not always an adrenaline rush. and oftentimes when we're in those, it's hard to find that balance and stillness and quietness and reflect within and find that inner strength, that guidance to take that first step. So a little wisdom on that one. And let's see, for our fourth card, we have choosing peace. Be gentle with yourself and others. Self-care, time, and compassion. Listening, quieting the mental chatter, being receptive of our guiding lights, energies, whatever you want to call it. Taking that first step and choosing peace, being gentle with ourselves and taking that care and that compassion for oneself also. And here it is, there's an angel, again with the wings and the divine imagery of the shapes and creation. It's kind of interesting if you start looking into that. I don't know how much of, you have looked into different spiritualities and different ways of expressing it. I do believe it's all one, and it's super amazing the more you get into it, how they all tie together. But, again with the wings and flight maybe representing that quietness and centering and finding that inner knowledge to be aware of it and let it take flight, but you do need to take the first step in that. And sometimes that's stepping away from everything. Maybe it's not an action necessarily on the outside. Maybe it's taking that first step to listen to yourself, choosing to let go of what no longer serves you, finding that inner peace and listening to yourself and your soul, and that's connected to the divine in everything. Or taking that, co-creating. Your path will appear, but taking that first step in whichever direction it is, for zen and quiet and being receptive to the communication of the spirit guides that we have, and angels and source that is always there and talking to us, finding that peace, being gentle with oneself, and taking that step. Maybe you need to take a step in forgiving yourself, or take a step in something you're afraid to, but don't be stagnant, and don't be so busy you can't hear what's going on with it. Nature is calling. Reconnect with nature, refresh your senses, honor the season. And in this one, there's that card for those of you that can't see it. And pretty. It kind of reminds me of the ocean a little. And again, there's a bird. Looks like there's dogwood flowers. Those could be, behind her, it could be a butterfly wing of some sort. There's dragonflies, butterflies. Oftentimes butterflies represent, beauty, strength, stillness, but yet, some say that they represent spirits of our past and deceased loved ones, letting us know that love is eternal and energy is always going. And dragonflies, kindred spirits. A lot of cultures believe that. The ocean, the ankh, listening to nature, reconnecting. Nature and the wind, like Bob Marley. What was the song? It goes, there's a natural mystic in the air. If you listen closely, you will hear the care. I don't know if those are exact words, but that's the message I get from it. And, as I get older, listening to that song versus being younger, I understand it a little bit different. And I guess it's kind of like rereading a book. We always pick it up, but at different points in our lives, it has different meanings. So it's kind of neat. Just getting out there in nature, reconnecting, listening to yourself, being receptive, and nature never steers you wrong. It has no preconceived notion of trying to veer you or sell you something or convince you of something. It just lets you be part of it because it's part of us. For our next card, we have deep stillness, meditation, enter the void, awaken within, and inner space. And this is only the second time I've ever gotten this card. It's got a little astronaut guy. And maybe he is an explorer within, exploring with the journey. And again, we have the butterflies. You keep getting those shapes. I need to actually go look and see what they're actually called. I've never been one for words. I've always just been a feeler. But, you have space in that void. We have the heart chakra. We have our solar plex chakra here. We've also got the sacral. It looks like Trying to interpret astronaut fingers. I was trying to see if there's anything significant with that, but almost looks like maybe he's holding, holding something. Doesn't really look like any way, shape, or form or another. But just the different shapes and the triangles, the elevation from within, and realizing that reflecting and going within, you got the sun, you have the third eye and the all-knowing. I think that's actually the Om. And the Om was originally, you have Om, and So when we learn to talk, those are the vowels that it's just really neat how, the further back you go into different cultures or spiritualities or different things, it's how everything ties in. And it was so long ago, but yet it's so relevant now because I think that maybe in modern day practices, we've lost a lot of, we've gotten further and further away of what really matters versus, ourselves and spirituality. And, I could go into that forever, but I'm not going to. I'd make for a very long reading. But, your third eye, your awareness, your heart, your second brain, they call it, your solar plex, your strength, your sacral chakra. And then you have your root chakra, and from within, everything arises, if it's balanced. Deep stillness. And through that deep stillness and going into that void, that darkness, which isn't actually as bad as, that's another story or not a story, but another tidbit of information, which there's plenty of other people on YouTube that have a lot more going on that. Look up Kundalini Awakening and different Indian and traditional like Hindu readings and whatnot, and messengers and gurus, and they'll probably give you a lot more insight than I could. I'm not as skilled in that. I feel and I understand, but it's hard for me to express in words. And again, I am not a guru, so I just try to bring what I can through feelings, and and I figured the cards were a good outlet, and it kind of gives me some guidance to give you guys a little bit of insight. But going within and finding that deep stillness, and within that you awaken, and you will find that inspiration for taking that step. And you do have guidance. You're not alone. And the wings and the butterflies and all the symbols, I'm just assuming that something yourself is trying to get in contact with you and is asking you to reconnect with yourself, basically. And for a final card reading in this one, crossing the great waters. A big undertaking, time for action and new possibilities. In this one, again, we have an angel and we have a portal. Water. Water is always moving and flowing and changing and adapting and evolving. And we have a sailor riding the winds and taking that journey, taking that first step, crossing those great waters. It's time for action. New possibilities are coming. I think that this reading is really reflecting upon one's soul and really wanting to, be, it's never gone, but be acknowledged. It's a universe source trying to reach out, and it's your higher self saying, hey, I'm here, and I've been waiting, and I'm sending all these signs, and there's guidance for us. We're not alone, but take that first step. Take that time out to find your reconnection where you find that, and you're not alone. There's guidance. Knowing that when you do go into that darkness within, you're not by yourself either. You can ask for guidance, and don't be afraid, and take that step. There's new possibilities coming, and I hope that you've gotten some enlightenment in this reading. It's a pretty deep one. It's a pretty awesome reading, actually, so I hope whoever comes across this is sending you lots of light and lots of love, and namaste, and thank you for tuning in and being a part of this with me. And if you like this reading and you resonated with it, please remember to like it, and please subscribe. The more energy that comes in, the more it'll flow, and I can share with everyone. So thank you. Namaste, and peace and light and love. Have a good day.